The Narcissist's Playbook, 11 Stages of the Cycle. The Beautiful Trap. Most people think a narcissist is just someone who loves their reflection. They're wrong. True narcissistic personality disorder isn't about self-love. It's about a bottomless void that requires you to fill it. Today we're breaking down the 11 stages of the narcissistic cycle. If you've ever felt like you're losing your mind in a relationship, pay attention. You aren't crazy, you're being scripted. Stage 1, the love bomb. It starts like a fairy tale. They shower you with affection, constant texts, deep conversations that stretch late into the night. They tell you things like, "I've never felt this way about anyone before," or "You're my soulmate." The intensity is overwhelming in the best possible way. You feel special, chosen, as if you've finally found someone who truly understands you. But look closer. This isn't intimacy. It's data mining. They're paying close attention to your dreams, your insecurities, your past relationships, your fears. Everything you reveal becomes valuable information. Later, these same details can be used to manipulate you, guilt you, or keep you emotionally hooked. Love bombing isn't about love, it's about hooking the target. Stage 2, the pedestal placement. Once they've hooked you, the next step is putting you on a pedestal. They tell you you're different from everyone else, better than their exes, smarter than their friends, more understanding than anyone they've ever met. At first it feels flattering, but the hidden goal is isolation. When someone convinces you that you're special compared to everyone else, it subtly separates you from your support system. Friends begin to feel less important. Family members seem less understanding. The narcissist becomes the one person who truly gets you. And here's the thing about pedestals. They're not built for stability. They're built for the fall. Stage 3, the slow boundary erosion. The change rarely happens overnight. Instead, it begins with tiny moments that seem easy to ignore. A joke about your appearance, a dismissive comment about your opinion, a habit of showing up late without apologizing, a sarcastic remark that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable. Each moment is small enough to dismiss. But they're not random. They're tests. The narcissist is measuring your elasticity. How far can they stretch your boundaries before you push back? If you don't push back, the behavior escalates. The jokes become insults. The dismissiveness becomes disrespect. Little by little, the boundaries that once protected you begin to dissolve. Stage 4, the gaslight phase. This is where the fog begins. You remember a conversation clearly. They deny it ever happened. You bring up something hurtful they said, and suddenly you're accused of misunderstanding or exaggerating. You're too sensitive. You're remembering it wrong. That's not what I meant. Over time, these moments start stacking on top of each other. Your confidence in your own memory begins to weaken. You start double-checking yourself. You replay conversations in your head, wondering if maybe they're right. Gaslighting works because it replaces your reality with theirs. Eventually, you stop trusting your own eyes and start trusting the person manipulating you. Stage 5, triangulation. Once your confidence is shaken, the narcissist introduces competition. Maybe they start talking about an ex who understood them better. Maybe they mention a coworker who thinks they're amazing. Maybe they constantly compare you to someone else. Suddenly you feel like you're competing for their attention. This is called triangulation. By introducing a third person into the dynamic, the narcissist creates insecurity and tension. Your focus shifts away from questioning their behavior and toward proving your value. You start trying harder, giving more, tolerating more, and while you're busy fighting for their approval, the narcissist quietly stays in control. Stage 6, the Jekyll and Hyde flip. Then comes the moment that leaves most people stunned. The person who adored you yesterday suddenly treats you like a stranger today. The warmth disappears, the affection fades, messages become cold, distant, or ignored entirely. You start chasing the person you met at the beginning of the relationship. You replay old memories and wonder what changed. But here's the painful truth. Nothing changed. The charming version of them was never real. It was a character designed to pull you in. Stage 7, the smear campaign. Even before the relationship officially ends, the narcissist begins preparing their exit strategy. They start telling subtle stories about you to friends, coworkers, and even family members. Stories where they appear calm, reasonable, and patient, while you appear emotional, unstable, or difficult. They frame themselves as the victim. By the time the relationship collapses, the narrative has already been planted. When you try to explain what really happened, people may already doubt your version of events. The damage was done quietly, long before the breakup. Stage 8, the discard. Eventually, the narcissist reaches a point where the relationship no longer gives them the validation they want. When that happens, they discard. The ending often feels shockingly cold. No closure, no honest conversation, no meaningful explanation. One day you're trying to fix things. The next day they're gone. Sometimes they move on almost immediately to someone new. To them, relationships are interchangeable sources of attention. You're left standing in the emotional wreckage. They're already starting the cycle again. Stage 9, the Hoover. Just when you finally begin to recover, something strange happens. They come back. A random text, a message saying they miss you, a sudden like on an old photo, maybe even an apology that sounds sincere. This phase is called hoovering, named after the vacuum cleaner. They're testing whether they can still pull you back into the cycle, not because they've changed, but because they want to see if they still have access to your attention. Stage 10, the rage. If the Hoover doesn't work, the mask can drop completely. The narcissist may become hostile, aggressive, or openly cruel. If they can't control you emotionally, they may try to control the narrative instead. They might spread rumors, twist stories, attack your reputation. This is often the most damaging stage psychologically. The best response is also the hardest one. Silence. Because silence is the one thing a narcissist cannot manipulate. Stage 11, the final awakening. The final stage isn't about them, it's about you. It's the moment you step back and realize something important. The person you fell in love with wasn't truly them. It was a reflection of your own kindness, empathy, and hope. You brought those qualities into the relationship. They simply mirrored them back to you. And once you see the pattern, the illusion breaks. You stop blaming yourself. You stop chasing answers that were never going to come. And slowly, you reclaim the peace that was taken from you. You didn't lose them. They lost the privilege of having someone who cared as deeply as you did. And that realization is where real freedom begins.